In this episode, I'm going to introduce you another important type of geometry, which is NURBS, and it's called NURBS, NURBS in short. It contains two important components. One is curve and another one is surface. So let's start from curves. There's a shelf called curve surface, and in the left part there are curve tools, and in the right part there are surface tools. You can also find them under create NURBS primitives, and here you can create a lot of primitives with NURBS, or you go to curve tools and create curve from here. So I'm going to use the shelf icons. There are two types of curves. One is called edit point curves, and another one is called control vertex curves. Okay, and let's go to top view. I'm going to create curve from the top view. Let's start with about CV curve first. Okay, click this tool, then left mouse click on the screen to place one point, then place another one here, and this is not curve yet. Okay, you have to click the third one and the fourth one. Okay, until you click the fourth one, then there is a curve created, and you can keep on clicking on the screen until it's done. Hit enter to finish your work. Then we have a curve. Okay, and we create this curve with the CV curve tool. So what is CV, or also called control vertex? That's a component of a curve. Let's select this curve and right mouse click, hold down your right mouse and watch this menu. This is a component of a curve. It contains curve vertex, control vertex, and the curve point, and hole, also edit point. Okay, let's take a look at control vertex. Okay. After you click or select the control vertex, you can see there's a lot of purple points on the curve or aside the curve. Just pick one of them and hit W to go to the move mode, and then move this point. Okay, now you can change the shape of this curve. We can shape this curve with changing the vertex, the CVs. Okay, I'll call it CVs in the future, because that's the control vertex in short. All right. Okay. Then let's take a look at the hole. I switch to hole. Then we start to see there's a orange line here. Okay, and if I switch it between control vertex and the hole, and see what happened. Okay, you'll notice that the hole is the connection of every CVs, right? Let me switch to control vertex again, and you can see each control vertex stay at the corner of the hole. So this is the connection of all CVs. If you select the hole like this, you select all the CVs on the hole. Okay, because you select all the continuous CVs, and you can move them at the same time, or rotate them at the same time. Go back to object mode, hit F8 twice. Okay, let's go back to object mode, or you can also select, hold down your right mouse button and go to object mode. It will also make you go back to object mode. All right. So that's the CV curve. And what is EP curve? Create and curve tools. This time, let's pick up EP Curve tool. Then we try here. Okay, click once, click the second time. Okay, and all of a sudden you see there is already a curve on the screen. Okay, you can make a curve just with two points. That's the edit point, and of course you can keep on clicking, and then when you think it's done, just hit enter to finish it. Okay, and this is the EP curve. But we still can go to the control vertex to see the series on this curve. If you go to the edit point, okay, and you see there are a lot of little small purple curls along the curve, and that's where you click. You use the EP curve and click on screen, right? Remember that? We just click that on these positions, and to correct this edit point curve. So actually we correct the edit point for it. You can also move the edit point to change the shape. So actually the EP curve and the CV curve is just different ways that you correct curve. After you correct that, both of them are curves. Okay, they are the same type of curve. So this curve that we just created with the CV tool, we can also go to the edit point mode and see the edit point along this curve, and also we can shape it with the edit point. Okay. And usually I use control vertex mode to shape a curve. Under control vertex mode, you can tell the start point or the end point of this curve by go to the first vertex here. If it's a square, then that's the start point of this curve. Of course, this is the outer side, and this is the end point of this curve. All right. So the curve only contains one direction, which is U direction. So this curve goes this way. And how about this curve? Select this curve, go to control vertex. Okay, and we can also see the start point is right here. So this is the end point. We can change the direction of the curve, of course. I will show you in the future. But right now, we'll just talk about the basic knowledge of a curve. Alright, so this is two different types of creating curves by CV curve and EP curve. And also you can create curve with Bezier curve, or you can use the pencil tool to draw a curve with freehand like this, but you may get a lot of control vertex, and that might not be what you want. Okay, you have to maybe have to rebuild this curve, and also I will tell you about the rebuild curve in the future. And what else? Okay, this 3-point circular arc or a 2-point circular arc. These two different type of tools allow us to create an arc like this, and hit enter. We can create the arc. Okay. But the most important tools that I used are these two curve tools, like CV curve tool and EP curve tool. Let's take a look at two different type of geometry in Maya. Okay, one is polygon and another one is NURBS. If you don't select them, they might look all the same, but you can tell them by selecting them, and from the wireframe on itself, they are very different. And also, let's check the component mode by select the polygon object and right click. The component of a polygon object is a vertex, R vertex, edge, and face, and also UV. Under the NURBS surface, the component of the NURBS surface are control vertex, isoplane, whole surface UV and the surface point. And let's add the shape. Go to the polygon model and select vertex. Okay, just randomly pick some vertex or just pick one of it. Then hit move. If you move this vertex up, they will only change the position of that only one vertex. But if you go to the NURBS surface and click control vertex, pick one and then move it, you will see a big change, okay, or a big difference from the polygon object. We can create a very smooth deformation by just moving one control vertex. Okay, that's the difference between editing the NURBS surface and add the polygon surface. Also, you can use 1 or 2 or 3 number buttons to change the outlooking or the preview of the model. Okay, so you can use 1 to go to the low quality mode, and 3 is the high quality mode, or it's also called smooth mode. Okay, and if you hit 2, there's the mode between the high quality and the low quality. Okay, it's the middle mode. So it's up to you. For a NURBS object, I always use 3 and add it under the smooth mode. But for polygons, when I model it, I always use 1, the low poly model, to add it, and then preview it with 3 to see what will happen if I smooth it. Okay, and also Arnold support the smooth mode, so you can render it with the low polygon model, but still render it with the high quality smooth outlooking. Okay, so Arnold support that. And also, we got edges, right, on the polygon surface. So this is called edge, all right. And on a surface, or the NURBS surface, we have isopons, and there are the surface curves on a NURBS surface. Okay, so you can randomly pick different isopons, but this isopons isn't curved yet until we convert it as the surface curve. We'll talk about that in the future. Okay. So that's the difference between NURBS and polygons. Let's take a look at the holes on a NURBS surface. So this is a NURBS sphere. Let's pick up this sphere and then right click, go to hole, and just like I said before, a hole is the connection of continuous CVs. So this is the surface. There are a lot of CVs on the surface, right? And they are also connected with holes. So if you pick this hole, you select this, I think this control vertex in the ring, like this. If you pick this one, and you select this series of control vertex along the vertical way, okay, and those are the horizontal vertex. Let's pick this hole and scale it. Okay, we can model the NURBS surface like this by scaling the hole. or just move a hole like this. But be careful. The NURBS is made with 4 edges, okay, like quartz. So actually there's no triangles on a NURBS surface. From here, this point, actually there are a lot of overlapping control vertex. They overlap with each other here. I can prove it by select one of it and then move it away, so that we create a gap or hole here. If I keep on moving different vertex, I can open this sphere, and actually you see there are 4 sides, right? There are 4 side surface. Let me show you more properties of curves. I created these 3 curves with EP curve tool from the shelf here. This icon is the EP curve tool. So I click them. As I said before, the component of a curve, there are control vertex, curve point, hole, and edit point. And we have already talked about the CVs, edit point, and hole before, but we haven't talked about curve point yet. So what is curve point? Imagine that this curve is built with countless points, like here. Just randomly pick one point on the curve. Use your left mouse button under the curve point mode, okay? And you can select different points on this curve. If you left mouse click and drag on the curve, you can see there's a red point on this curve. If you release your mouse button, then we select this point. Hold down Shift, we can select multiple curve points. But you cannot just move them. If you click W, there's no function right now, okay? But actually we can insert knot from the point that we just selected, okay? But we'll do it later. Let's take a look at another attribute, the curve spans. Select this curve, Control A to open the attribute editor. You can see there is an attribute called spans over here. The more number the span is, the more vertex, the more control vertex you got. So this one, the span is 4. So if we check hole, we got 4 spans, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So how about this one? They look the same, but they got different span numbers. This one got 8, and this one got 20. So if I select all of them, and I hit F8 to go to the component mode to see the control vertex, and you will see the difference. Okay. The one which contains the most span numbers, it got a lot of vertex on the curve. Of course, with those control vertex, you can make more details of this curve. But also, it makes more difficult to model the curve because you got too much control vertex on it. So use it wisely. Sometimes, if a few points, if you control vertex will do the job, then use it. Don't give it too much control vertex, or it'll be your headache in the future. So how do I add more control vertex on a curve? because I don't want to evenly increase the control vertex number. Maybe I just need more details around here, so I'm going to use the insert not command to just add some edit point, oh, I'm sorry, the vertex point. Add some vertex point, control vertex point here. First, let's go to the compose mode, then go to curve point. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the control vertex first and see how many control vertex we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, only 4 right now. So far, only 4. Okay, and I'm going to increase the numbers of control vertex here. Add more control vertex over here. By go to curve point, and then select one point here. Maybe shift and select another one here. How about this? Okay, just add 3 more control vertex. So go to curve and insert node. Okay, just click it and go to control vertex mode again. Check it. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 control vertex right now. Okay. So we add more control vertex at where we think where it is important. And of course we can add the shape over here, right? So if you think it's necessary to add more around here, okay, go to curve point again, select one point over here, then again let's go to insert node and add one more here. This time let me duplicate this curve, move it aside. I'll delete the other 2 curves. Move these 2 curves to center. Hit F8 to compare them with each other. And now they look the same because the second curve is just copied from the first one. So of course they look the same, right? But I'm going to even out the control vertex and maybe add more CVs for it. And I will use rebuild. Select the second curve, go to curves, rebuild, then go to the dialog box, click it, okay, reset, edit, reset settings. Let's go to the default settings, and the default setting for number of spans is 4. Okay, but right now you can tell it from the attribute editor that span numbers is 8. It's more than 4. So if you rebuild this curve with 4, you will lower the quality of this curve, which is not what we want. Okay, I'm going to add more numbers, more than 8, maybe 12. Okay, and then go to rebuild. Let's turn off the grid so we'll see it clearly. Move our camera closer to these 2 curves. Compare them. The second curve, apparently, it looks more smooth. It looks smoother than the first one. Around here, the corner, maybe also around here, right? Because the second curve that we just rebuilt, it got more spans numbers here. It got 12 spans, and the first one it just has the 8, okay, of spans. So the second one, there are more vertex, control vertex on the second curve. Okay. Let's do an experiment again. Let's duplicate the second curve and made the third one. This time, let me rebuild it with a very low number. For example, lower than 4, maybe 2. Okay, and let's see what happened. Rebuild it. Alright, it becomes actually very ugly, very rough, because the span number is too low. Okay, so we can give it enough vertex, enough contour vertex to edit the shape. What if I want to draw a curve on a NURBS surface? As you can see, there is a NURBS sphere being this thing, and I want to create a curve along the surface. If you just click the EP Curve tool and click on the surface, you see nothing here. Hit enter. Okay, it looks like we have already created a curve, but it's not on the surface. Let me change my view angle, and you'll see we actually create a curve on the grid. Okay. So every time you click on the screen with the EP Curve tool, and it looks like you create curve in the space, but actually it stays on the ground or on the grid. So if I want to draw on the surface, I should make it live by go to actually select it first, and then go to here. There is a button here like this. Click it. It's the Make Live button, and I believe the Make Live button is over here. Yes, modify, Make Live. Okay. Make it live. If you hit 4, you can see the color of the wireframe, it turns into green. And the green color of the wireframe means that this object is paintable now. Go back to the solid mode by hitting 5 and use the EP Curve tool from the shelf. Click on the surface to create a curve. Now you can see the curve stays on the NURBS surface. You can rotate your camera angle and check it. Hit enter to finish this action. Now this curve stays along the surface. But actually this curve is not a really curve. Okay, it has not been a curve yet. Let's check out the outline window. And here there's only one shape node, which is the NURBS surface, the NURBS sphere. Okay, and we don't see the curve on this list. So how do we change this curve into a real curve, into a real shape node? Okay, first let's just cancel the Make Live mode. Okay, by go to modify, and now the command, it says make not live, so just click it to make everything not live. You can go to the wireframe mode to check the color of the wireframe, and now it is blue, right? So it's already be a normal NURBS sphere right now. Then we can pick up the curve on the surface. Go to Curves, duplicate surface curves. Now we create a shape node for this curve. And if you hit W to move it, you can move this curve aside. Okay, but if you move this original one, you can just move it along the surface. Okay, and when I move this curve also moved. That's because there is a connection between them as the history. from the duplicate surface. If I select the curve shape node, delete the history. Now if you move the original curve, the second curve won't be affected anymore. If you want to cut curves from where it intersects with each other, you can use the cut command. For example, in this file, we got two curves on the grid, okay, and they overlap with each other. We touch it together from here, and we want to cut them from this intersector point. Just select both of them. Go to Curves, Cut. Now we got 4 different curves, and they all been cut from here, and we can move them away. Under outliner, there are 4 curve shape points on the outliner list. So this is how we cut curves from the intersect point. There's another way to detach or attach a curve. Let's detach the curve first. Select this curve. Under outliner, there's only one curve shape node right now. Let's go to curve point and pick up one curve point on the curve, maybe here in the middle, and then go to curves, detach. Once you detach it, we got 2 curves right now. Let me rename the second curve as curve 2. So now we call it curve 1 and curve 2. And you can move curve 1 away to make sure they are separate. All right. Undo it. And let me attach it by select the first curve and shift select the second curve. Go to Curves, Attach. Now we got a brand new curve which is attached, but actually looks a little bit different from the original curve. Okay, let's delete it and check the option box. So again, select these 2 curves in order, and then go to Curves, Attach, and go to the dialog box. Okay, reset settings. And I like to point out one thing under the NURBS commands. Most of them got the commands the keep originals being selected. And what this option does is it will keep the original curve and make a new one for you. Okay, so if you don't uncheck it and hit apply, we got the 3rd curve, but we still keep the original one, or the original 2 curves, right? If you want to throw out these 2 original curves and just keep the 3rd one, the attached one, then you don't have to select keep original. And also hit apply. You will just get 1 curve. But if when you move the curve, you see there's one end stays on the grid. It won't move. Why? That's because it still keeps the history of attached curve. So it remembers the last curve position. So that's why it stays on the grid. And all you have to do is delete the history. Now we can move this curve wherever you want it. Let me do it again. Detach it first. Go to detach. Okay, got to curve. Curve 2. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about why it looks a little bit different after you attach it. Okay, if you hit apply, and actually I'll keep the original so that we can compare them. So if I hit apply, I got the attached curve here, but it looks slightly different from the old two curves, okay, the original curves. That's because we pick up the blend mode from the attach mode. So it blends these two curves and give it another smooth result. That's why they look different. All right. So let's call this curve attached curve. And blend. Okay. We can hide it. Control H. And let me pick up curve 1 first and pick curve 2. Then we go to we pick up the attach mode to pick up the connect mode. And it will just connect these two curves and it won't change the curvature. So let me apply it. We get a completed new curve here. Let's call it attached curve and then connect. Connect it. Select both curves, delete history, then unhide the blend curve. Okay. We can delete the original two curves, and now we got only blend curve and connect curve. And now look, they are different. Okay. And the connected curve, it looks just the same as the original one. When you attach curves, Maya will attach these two curves from the closest point. For example, in this case, is from here to here. Okay, let's prove it by select both of them and then go to curves, attach. And now you can see they connect with each other from these 2 points. Okay, let's undo it. And if I rotate curve 2, actually, let's rename them first. Curve 1 and curve 2. Okay, that's curve 1 and that's curve 2. So if I rotate curve 2, let me center the pivot first. Center pivot and rotate curve 2 to this angle. Okay, now the closest point between them are here and here. So select both of them again, go to curves, attach. Now they connect with each other from this part. Okay, let's undo it again. So what if I don't want to rotate curves, but I want to connect the curve 1 from this point to this point on curve 2, here to here. Remember, by default, Maya will only connect the closest point. So how do we finish this job? Well, we can still do that by select the first curve, the curve 1, and then right mouse click, go to curve point, and drag a point, slide it until it stops at the left. Then shift select the second one and then release your shift and go to curve point again. Okay. Now hold down your shift. Drag another curve point along the curve 2, yes, curve 2, and slide it until it stops here. So we mark these 2 points now, and then go to curves, attach. See? So that's how you decide where you want to connect both curves. Okay, and don't forget to delete the history after you attach it. So go to delete by type, history, to delete the history, and you can now move this curve to wherever you want it to be. If you want to create a curve from a NURBS surface, for example, in this case, a NURBS sphere, okay, you can do that by selecting this sphere, then right mouse click, select isopone, and left mouse drag an isopone along the surface, and release your mouse button to place the isopone here. Okay, we marked isopone, and we want to create a curve like this isopone. So let's go to curves, duplicate surface curves, click it, and then we create a curve just like the isopone. Okay, under outliner you can see this curve. Let's call it curve 1. Let's create another curve by selecting isopone again. This time let's select the vertical isopone, maybe this one. And I can also hold shift, pick up another isopone, this time maybe this one. Okay, and let's do it again. Curves, duplicate surface curves, and then we create curve 2 and curve 3. Don't forget to delete the history after you create them. How do we offset a curve and make another parallel curve aside it? Well, select this curve first, then go to curves, offset. And there are 2 options under offset curves. One is offset curve, another one is called offset curve on surface. Okay. Let's try offset curve first. Okay, keep this curve selected, and then click on the dialog box on offset curve. Let's go to edit, reset settings, go back to the default settings. Alright, and I think I just used the default settings to show you what happened. Okay. Once you click apply, then I offset the curve for you, and the distance between the second curve and the first original curve is from here, 1 unit distance. If you type -1, then select the original curve, hit apply, then this curve will offset to another way. If you keep on clicking apply, then you got more curves offset to the right side. Okay, like this. You can also adjust the distance of the offset curve after you offset it. Okay, for example, let's offset curve again and select the second curve. Go to the history. You see there's a history called offset curve. Then click it, select distance, okay, and then use your middle mouse button to drag on the work area. change the distance of this offsetted curve. And this is another sample. If you want to offset a curve on a surface, like this, again, select this curve. This time, let's go to Offset Curve on Surface. Go to dialog box. I got the very similar interface. Just go to Reset Settings, and then hit Apply. Okay. Then we got another offset curve here. Okay. Again, we can click on the history and change the distance. And once you've finished, you can turn them into a real curve by going to, see, it's not a curve right now, so by selecting them and then go to Curves, Duplicate Surface Curves. Okay. Then you get two curves. We talked about how to tell the direction of a curve before by selecting the curve and go to the Control Vertex mode and observe the first curve vertex point. If it looks like a square, then that's the start point from this curve. And it follows with another vertex looks like U, then the normal control vertex like this. So we know this curve goes to this way. Okay. What if I want to reverse the direction of this curve? Just select this curve and go to Curves. Go all the way down here, reverse direction. Click it. It seems nothing happened, but actually it does. Okay. Select this curve and go to Control Vertex again. And see, the start point, it changes from here to here. Okay. And then U, and then Control Vertex. So we reverse the direction of this curve.